now pole man Craig Lowndes. Ambrose goes with him there side to side. Remember, they came in contact in New Zealand. But it's a clean turn one. We've got an incident at the back. Someone is into the wall on the start straight.
There was heavy contact, and Garth Tander made a shocker as well. He got buried on the run to turn one. He went absolutely backwards after starting so strongly in qualifying.
Lowndes, Ambrose, Scaife, Murphy, Richards. And Russell Inglis made a great start, dives forward. Now he's wrestling with Jamie Whincup, side by side through Cat Corner as they climb the mountain for the first time.
Craig must have had a massive throttle percentage going at the start, because he made sure he had tons and tons of wheel spin to make sure the car did not bog down, and he got a great launch away to head them up Mountain Straight for the first time. And the Bow Jones car in the wall on the exit of turn one. They've had a coming together by the look of it with car number 5. Now, this is a weird one. Look at that.
Oh no, this is Courtney. Right front damage there. And it'll be worse because he has to try and drag that stiff wheel back into the pits for repairs. He's going to lose an enormous amount of time.
And look at this, our race leader has dropped back to third. He's lost 2 positions and is limping across the mountain, something under the car.
Well, there you go. These guys have not had reliability. The whole rear end's moving around. He's got a broken bolt in that Watts linkage that Greg was talking about before. We might go back to the tech centre later and show you that very bolt, but I reckon he might have just tagged the wall somewhere.
Zinger replay, this may tell us more. Up the inside goes the Noski Lay, HSV dealer team Commodore.
Was there contact on the right-hand side? He's ended up out of the groove. Just a tiny glance, look at that. Just enough to get him out in the grey. So somewhere in the next 15 litres of fuel, you'll start to see fuel lights come on and people getting down towards their reserve pickup as Murphy looks. Oh, Marcus made a decision late to just give him the space. Lead change.
Oh, look at that!
What on earth has hit this car? I believe it's a wheel. That's the view from on board. That's collapsed the windscreen, damage to the roof turret on the car. It's caved in the front of the Better Electrical Lowndes Ford.
That is extraordinary. That is very fortunate.
And that's why Campbell said stay out on the track. But, you know, they'll black flag him, I'm sure. I doubt very much whether they'll allow a windscreen to stay in that condition. And they've got Dumbrell's car mobile.
And a solid handshake and a big congratulations for him.
Brock having to kick out a windscreen and then use the full face helmet and pluck the visor down. Generally, when the screen's this bad, they've got to remove it. And then, of course, if you do that, you've got to take the rear screen out as well.
And did you hear Campbell saying we need to cut this out?
So at least now the field's been brought under the control of the safety car, and they have an opportunity to stop and think about this.
And while the safety car is out, so many people have taken advantage to pit, and one of them, Cameron McConville, after a brilliant opening stint. That was fantastic, 26 seconds worth of fuel, but there was a little bit of a brush down the back of the passenger side there toward the rear of the car. What happened?
Yeah, it was just then with the debris. I ran over something in that crash and something flew up the side of the car. I don't recall glancing the wall or touching another car, and it just something went off the front spoiler and ricocheted off the side of the car there. But no, everything's going fine. I actually ran out of fuel on that lap there and coughed just as the safety car came out, so the timing was good.
The boys ran out of fuel right then. Back to you.
Thank you.
Well, look at this. This is the Zinger replay of Paul Dumbrell.
That's the wheel that I'm sure will have parted company from Paul's car, from the Stephen Richards Paul Dumbrell car. See the car in the background, it was Craig Lowndes. So that wheel was bouncing on the run, exiting turn 2, bouncing on the run up towards the cutting, and it somehow bounced its way into the path of Craig Lowndes. He's a very lucky man not to have copped that wheel. We didn't see it, but it was just to the right of screen there, and there's the damage on the 888 car. Unbelievably bad luck.
The Craig Lowndes car is coming in, the 888 entry. The officials are here in pit lane. Campbell Little says they were bringing it in anyway, as you can imagine. Now, you've got to wind the clock back to many, many years ago, the 80s, with Peter Brock. They are going to punch out the front windshield on this car, and under the rules, that means by nature you have to take out the back one as well. So some work going on with both windshields on the 888 car, front and rear.
And a change here for the lead as Paul Wheels sneaks underneath Warren Luff. That's Luke Youlden tucked in behind.
This man out in front is flying. Scaife has got the HRT Commodore just where he wants it.
He's braining them at the moment, Lee. An 8.65.15 on lap number 95, 1 lap ago. That is a new lap record at this racetrack. So the fastest man ever in a race. In other words, a genuine lap record. Remember, Murphy that time in the shootout, but you can't get a lap record. Oh, Luke Youlden has half-looped the number 9 car. Oh, has he got it bogged? I was about to say he may have saved the day here by not getting in the gravel, but did the rears go in? And can he get it out? He was only 1 lap away from stopping. They asked him to, he lifted his foot off the brake pedal and rolled in backwards there. Can he get it out? Oh, yes! Out of jail.
Oh, there's a big story brewing.
There is a massive story
at the moment, and that is the fact that there's confusion in the Stone Brothers garage about whether or not Warren Luff had his balaclava on, and they're talking about on the race control channel black flag in car number 1 for a drive-through penalty. So they've said to Marcus, stay out there at the moment until we resolve this. But this is a huge story.
Oh, is this Andrew Jones? No, it's not. That's the damaged one. That's the Holdsworth Skyfleet one. The Gary Rogers Valvoline machine, and that is awkward. It smashed the windscreen, and that's at Griffin's Bend, Cat Corner, climbing the mountain. Can you believe it?
Well, I mean, there's the spare balaclava, and you'd agree with it, but I do agree with what Marcus says. The whole field needs to be wearing them as well, so if it's going to be enforced, it better be enforced properly. Look at that, he didn't have it on.
You guys can see the pictures there, so that's telling the story. It's pretty wild stuff, Neil. What do you think?
Such a hard one, Darryl. I mean, you can't argue with the rules that it's in black and white. It's an international event. You've got to wear all the underwear, but it is an unpopular item with many of the drivers, especially on the hot days. And you know, you don't want to be bagging the rules. It is a safety issue.
Okay, mate, way you go. That side is up quite nicely. You still haven't lost much of the position.
It's a safety issue, and more importantly, it's an insurance issue, and the Confederation of Australian Motorsport. This is what happened to Greg Ritter earlier. Seeing a replay shows that he tripped over the ripple strip and the sand pit and then smacked into the outside barrier there. Unfortunately, the tyre barrier did its job, but gee, that car's taken a battering today.
This is the sole remaining Castrol Perkins Commodore of Matt Coleman, Christian de Gostin.
Still 100 kilometres of racing. It's like a conventional round.
Yeah,
it's like a conventional sprint race in our championship. 18 laps of this 6 kilometre race. Racetrack.
Sorry, Neil, there's some confirmation on Murphy's car there. Throughout the day, that car's probably missed the window, Paul Will said, by about 4 or 5 laps just through fuel economy. It's been a little bit thirsty, so that's why for this last run they've just taken a little bit more fuel on they initially thought.
WPS safety car is off. We are ready to race to the end of the Super Cheap Auto 1000. Who will win? Back to green. Scaife is your race leader.
Mark didn't play any games there at the restart. They've been expressly instructed by the race director not to get too cute when it comes to the restarts. They'll actually look at the data later to make sure you weren't jumping on the brakes to try to trigger a little chaos down through the field.
Greg Murphy made very quick work of Mark Porter there. Got through, and he's now focused on Ellery. Richards is right with Scaife. This is an unbelievable drive from Jason Richards. Ellery is third. Now Murphy needs to get by that WPS Falcon, and Richards is giving Scaife the big hurry up.
Yeah, there's no doubt that